What is infidelity? Which is a subject and a question that so many of us are grappling with today, and the definition keeps on expanding. Is it just an affair, or is it also watching porn, or is it also a lap dance, going to strip clubs, or is it sexting or texting or staying active on your dating apps? Where do we draw the borders? Where do we draw the lines of what we consider an infidelity? Especially when many of us have monogamy agreements that are both explicit, the ones we state during our vows when we marry and so forth, and then also implicit, the kind of negotiation that we do with ourselves. Adultery has existed since marriage was invented, and so too the taboo against it. In fact, infidelity has a tenacity that marriage can only envy, and so much so that this is the only commandment that is repeated twice in the Bible. Once for doing it, and once just for thinking about it. To understand modern infidelity is really to understand modern marriage. Because for most of history, marriage was an economic enterprise, and so adultery was an economic crisis. But once we brought love to marriage, infidelity became an emotional crisis. And that changed the entire definition. I often think that we are asking today from one person what once an entire village used to provide. And so we look for that person, the one and only, the one that's going to make me stop looking, the one that's going to make me delete all my apps, the one that's going to make me feel like I found, the one for whom I will be everything. So when an infidelity occurs, it often shatters the grand ambition of love. After all, maybe I'm not the one, is what we then start to ask ourselves. And maybe you were not the one for me that I thought you were. So what is infidelity? How do we define it? And I think we can basically organize it around three primary elements. First, the constitutive element of infidelity is its secrecy. The fact that you are shielding something from the knowledge of other. And the second element is sexual alchemy. The reason I use alchemy rather than sex itself is because an affair is less about sex actually and a lot more about desire. And the desire is about being special, being seen, being desired and being known. And that brings out the quality of the erotic that is at the center of an affair. And the erotic is such that a kiss that you only imagine giving can be just as hot as hours of actual lovemaking, because it speaks to our imagination. So it's less about sexual acts and much more about sexual aura. And the third element is an emotional involvement to one degree or another. Sometimes one night stand, but other times a deeply involved emotional commitment or even a parallel love story.